PMN Tonga.
You're listening to PMN Tonga with John Pulu.
Ho eiki pea moe kāinga. Yes, we continue celebrating ole vaiaso ole Gagana Samoa. Tā lofa ilo tātou atu no o whawhailoa I atu le PMN Tonga. I la utou wawauna le nei o John Pulu. Ma o le aso le nei o le whamanatua I le Gagana Samoa I lunga o le tātou polokalame. Ho eiki pea moe kakai whonua. Iyo, koe weekendi whoki u tawhaka ilonga iai. Ai ngawe ake koe ni pea moe mahu inga o e Gagana Samoa pe koe lea whakahamua. Well, joining us right now via Zoom to continue the celebration of vaiaso o le Gagana Samoa is Leofo Seiuli Savea, Leofo tone Peseta. Malo soifua Leofo.
Malo soifua manuia lange malo fionga John Pulu fatalo fatfo fatfonga bai na ya tatu uso ainga tonga ile ne fiaf. Very pleasant good evening to all our Tongan families this evening. Malo soifua.
Whafkai ke le lava lawa fionga pea malo pito e ka mai ki he tau polokalama with your ainga from the Friendly Islands, the Kingdom of Tonga. And happy Samoan Language Week to you. Now, the theme for this year is Mitamita I laungangana maua'a lo whaasinomanga. Let's talk about the theme to you, La Fionga. Tell us your thoughts and your views of, having this as the theme. Be proud of your language and grounded in your identity.
After lava Leofo John Pulu mo le facility. Thank you for the question, sir. And look, this in various forms, I would say being proud of your language is also being proud of your ancestral language. Your ancestral languages, this includes the symbols and signs and the environments, the landmarks, the events, the gestures, and other intangible language, serving as a reminder to of life from the past, and also the generations carrying without our histories and with our histories, and also the creation from the minds of the mouths and all the Samoans, and being proud of all languages that was created. And basically it's our gift from God. We're born, we know that there's only one thing that differentiates us from other brothers and sisters. It's our language. That's the thing that determines us. So when if you're say identify ourselves as Samoans, so the last thing that people, one of the things that people would ask for is, do you speak Samoan? So really, it is to me being proud of it, and in that sense, but as well as being proud in your spiritual language of Samoan, as well as it's also a pillar in our churches, and it's nurtured in churches and programs and activities such as Sunday school, and youth groups and choirs and church services, and also it plays an important role ensuring Samoan language thrives, and Samoan people are proud of their language. So I think it goes with any other culture. We're proud of ourselves in our language, and it's been quite engaging for a lot of other brothers from other countries and around the Pacific using using some terms in our language that as a slang like goose, and that's basically something that we have that creates a common ground amongst us and have that connection.
And speaking of connection, Samoan language is very strong and very well used. It is the most spoken Pacific language here in Aotearoa. In fact, to break it down even more, now Samoan, the Samoan language represent 47.9% of all Pacific peoples in the country. And Gagana Samoa is our third most spoken language, following English and Te Reo Māori, and the second most spoken language here in Auckland, Tāmaki Makaurau. So it looks like the retention is going really well. What are your thoughts around that, Seiuli? That like you said, it's a pillar. The churches and everyone is using it, so it's a good sign for the future, eh?
Yeah, if you look at it, it goes with its population as well. It's a growing population of Samoans in New Zealand. There's apparently more Samoans in New Zealand than there are in Samoa, to speak. So you could see it. It's now been used even in the government. So proud of Honorable Aupito Sua William Sua. Especially he was, I think, is the one that's basically um, tried to use, that fought for that in government, in parliament, to actually try to use the Samoan language, having to use the Samoan language to actually be sworn in his own mother tongue. So it's something like even in our churches we've got strong and use of it.
Beautiful.
It's basically in everyday language for most of us. We go to school, you speak Samoan to your mates at school. You go to your work, you speak Samoan to your work, and then on Sunday, of course, the service is fully. It's all in Samoan, so you
I
can
love
see
it.
that connection with our people, and it's been used all around, and even in some documents now. I've heard from Mr. The former minister that the New Zealand government has got some other documentations in Samoan now.
That's fantastic. It's, I guess, the more it's becoming normal now. The normality of availability of the language for not just Samoans, but I guess it's another way to connect with those who have a connection to Samoa. What is your final message now for the community, for those who are on the journey that are learning the Gagana Samoa? What message do you have for them?
Well, for those of you that really would like to engage and to know more about your culture and be grounded in your identity, um, it's my encouragement to try to learn your language and be proud of it, basically, because when you understand well with your language and and you're fluent with it, you would understand your culture and the other perception and perspectives within your culture, and having to understand the differences, the why we give. For example, a perfect example is why we give a lafo. Some in some other perception and other perspective, that is bribery in some form, and it's also seen as, why do we have to give a lafo for, sorry to use that as an example, but my encouragement for people, it's better if we learn it well and learn how to use the Samoan language and promote it and amongst each other, so we could actually understand our culture well. So many aspects to it and so many components to the Samoan culture that we need to understand. So it's important that we learn and speak it. If we don't speak it, and we'll lose it. So and also retaining that momentum and maintaining it, so then in the future generations it will be passed on to future generations and be spoken properly in the way that our ancestors had to speak it in the way the language was taught in the past.
Well, continue to celebrate and hold on to your mea sina, your Gagana Samoa, and we wish you all the very best. And you can listen and find out more details about some of the great events happening this week. Just go on to PMN Samoa every Thursday here on Radio 531 PI. Right now, we're going to hear from one of my favorite Samoan peses, Whaafofonga Mai Samoa. Benina o Tiafau, to say whafkaike le lava to you, Alawa Fionga. Thank you for joining us on our Polo Kalama.
Taftai tere suntan pulu ya taftai fo ya tafo mai tato ainga tonga. So fo mai manuia.
Manuia le afi afi. Ofalahi atu.